you, Mommy. It's a privilege to have you on this platform. This is Bukola Olayoye. We're glad to have you. Miss Lily. Excuse me, I'm going to skip that surname part, but thank you for coming. And Miss Elizabeth Olumomi, thank you for coming. So our panel session this afternoon is titled, excuse me. Yeah, so our panel session this afternoon is titled Empathy and Influence, Leading for Lasting Impact. Empathy and Influence, Leading for Lasting Impact. So we are going to be looking at, by asking questions, and then we'll also have questions from the audience. So in case you have any question around this topic, or probably while the session is on, you have any question, you can write it in a piece of paper, pass to one of the protocols, or when it's time for us to call on the audience, just signify by raising your hands. Are we good? Okay. So I'm going to throw this first question to our mommy here. Because, like they say, when you stand on the shoulders of those who have gone ahead of you, right, it helps you to go farther and see farther. You don't have to make some mistakes that they have made before. And so this afternoon, we're going to start the session by sitting on the shoulders of our mommy here. So the session here is all about empathy and influence, leading for lasting impact, and you've been operating in this sphere for a really long time, even before some of us began to conceive what our goals are or what our aspirations are. So I would like to ask you, how can one develop this empathy and at the same time be influential when you have when you're to like lead a group of people in whatever leadership capacity? Like, so we want you to like speak to that first.
Okay, so I'll quickly take your mind through defining types of leaders. If you draw a box, I would have loved to have a board. If you draw, should I say, a square, and you split it into four, and you have to, differentiate, put different leaders in those four boxes. Maybe some will be, we call them the country club style managers. Anything goes. Some are perfectionists. Some are neither here nor there. And some are not just there at all. Now, if you look at those boxes, everyone in that box is right in their own space. They would achieve results from their followers or their subordinates in different ways. However, having a of each of the traits together, as a leader, would help you excel more. Now, when you talk about leadership and empathy, there are some people that believe, okay, so if you are the first child of your house, you are always used to giving instruction. So you just tell them, come and wash this plate. They go and wash it. You are the one sweeping today, and your younger one goes sweeping. When you get into the office, there is every tendency you want to do the same thing. Or you are the last one of your house. Everybody is used to sending you on errand. You are always running around. If care is not taken, when you get into the workplace, you want to be the doer. But I'm sure this forum is to break those barriers and make that shift. Now, as a leader, you must be able to, get to a middle point where you have all of the traits. So sometimes you are very hard. Sometimes everything goes. Sometimes you are neither here nor there. But your major objective is that you must achieve results. When I used to be head of human resources of a particular company, and there was this core member who no department wanted to associate with. She's been in different departments and they all threw her out. That she's so lazy. I think she had a boyfriend among the senior management or something. So her case came to me and I have just joined. I said, okay, no problem, I'm going to take her. So So I brought her into my office, right inside my office. I said, okay, sit there. I sit here. I will tell you, she became the best core members that we had. This girl, when she goes for her her CD, you call it CD, right? CDS. She would come back. That there's work to be done. But her mates will go home. So you then wonder what happened. In fact, one of the management staff called me one day. My husband is Yoruba. He said, oh, ìyàwó mi, ọmọ yẹn lò ṣá. If you understand Yoruba, as in, you know how to use people ṣá. I'm like, what is it? He was definitely referring to that girl. So how did you make her come out of that extreme bad child, that everybody labeled her, and now we can see her everywhere? So there's really no one way to get people to do things. So for me, one thing that is clear is the day you come to me, I set out your KPIs. This is what I want you to deliver. This is what we want to achieve. In this whole achievement, picture yourself. This is what you need to do to help us achieve the overall goal. Once you have that picture of what you need to do, what is expected of you, because most times people don't even know what is expected of them. They are not bad. But however, if that is clear from day one, that this is what is expected of me, then you as the leader now gives the support. You must continuously support. It's not like you are helping to do the job to say, okay, empathy is fitting or something. It's that support from you that is the empathy. Continuously support that person to excel. I would always tell people that if I leave this job and I do not replicate myself in you before I leave this job, then I'm a failure. I must be able to replicate myself in you. So even when you refuse to learn, I will tell you that if you cannot take my job when I leave, then I have not achieved anything. So I think that is how to go as a leader, and it has always worked. And where it has failed, there is also a clear line of distinction. We need to also draw the curtain at some point. There's a time where we need to draw the curtain, and we draw the curtain. But that's not always my desire to draw the curtain. I want to try my best.
Thank you. That would make me ask the next question.
Okay.
You said something about drawing the curtain. And I was going to ask, at what point do you identify that, okay, I need to empathize with my people, irrespective of the category, irrespective of the capacity which you're leading. I need to empathize. And at what point do you decide that, you have to put your foot down and you see that, oh, this has to be done, or you have to do this? How do you draw the line?
Okay. Most time, where I have to draw the curtain is attitude. You don't know the job, for me, is not the problem, because it can be taught. I also learned. But where you don't have the right attitude, and I give you that space, to see maybe there will be a change. And fortunately, being a Christian who also understand that there are so many factors that influences people's life, even at work, even powers of darkness that don't want them to succeed. I give you that space and I do not see a change, then I draw the curtain. Now, there's something I do, because I'm a certified coach. I give you continuous feedback, set KPIs, feedback, set KPIs. At some point, ask you what you want to do. So you are the one that tells me what you want to do. I don't tell you what you have to do. Now we set the KPIs. You know what is expected from you. Then I tell you, break it down. How do you want to achieve this? By yourself. I don't give you how you are going to achieve it. You tell me how you want to achieve it. Then I handhold you. Now, I handhold you, and at some point I may even ask you, do you want an accountability partner amongst your team members? Who do you want to remind you of some things? At that point, you will see that I've gone above and beyond. So if at that point we come back, with the continuous feedback and we don't see actions from your end, we don't see results, then the day we have to sit down and have that honest conversation, even you would tell me, oh, you have tried. Because there have been processes, there have been actions. And I make sure, so sometimes my friends call me to say, oh, I have this team member, this just happened. I'll tell him, book a meeting to have that conversation. Send a calendar invite. Let it sit in the mailbox. So if I'm going to have that session with you 10 times, I'm going to send 10 calendar invites. So the day we have to draw the curtain, we say, okay, on so days we had this meeting. You told me you were going to do this. We followed up with this. At that point, you won't even wait for me to give you feedback for the 10 times we met. You are the one that will even tell me that, madam, I think I have to resign. So it's clear. But one opportunity you must give to that person is give the person the opportunity to prove himself. Because we all have potentials.
Thank you very much for that beautiful response, man. Give the person the opportunity to prove himself or herself because we all have potentials. So I'm going to throw the next question to Mrs. Bukola Olayiwoye. I want to believe that at some point, yeah, you must have had the opportunity to lead a set of people and building on what mommy has said to us about how she handles people under her whenever she needs to lead any set of people. I would like to ask, how then do you handle maybe a team member or a subordinate, right? And it's clearly saying that this person has, how do I put it now? This person has gone beyond the boundaries. Like you've done your best and all that, but yet the responsibility lies on your shoulder to bring out the best in your team member. How would you handle that particular team member or subordinate? We want to hear the live and direct answer from you.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so how would I handle a team member who has gone above limits, right? I think the first thing I would do is just like she has said, building on what she said. If the KPIs has been clearly stated and it's clear that you didn't meet it, in an HR professional, the first thing we'll do for people like that is to put them on a performance improvement plan. When it's very clear that this person is not delivering what should be done, the person is given an opportunity, is a specified period. You are going to get your defined goals for a specified period, let's say for a 1 month. And that 1 month shows that this is your last chance to actually redeem your image or your way out. Because the truth of the matter is, at every point in time, we all want the business to grow. You all want your team to grow. If I have a personal organization, I'm working for myself. I want the people I am working with to have that mindset. And I think one thing we need to learn is wherever we find ourselves, we need to also ensure that people understand what the bigger goal, what the end result is. When the end result is clearly broken down to everyone in the team and they know what deliverable they have to put in to achieve that, yes, everyone has take ownership. When we all take ownership on that project, there is always growth. So if I'm given the opportunity within that specified period, the KPIs are well stated. If after that period there's still no improvement, just like she said, at some point you have to let go. It might be hard, but we just need to get to a point where we need to do what we have to do. But there's always also the other side, where after that specified period of probation, the person does well and the person is integrated back to the system. So that would be it for me.
Thank you very much. Leading your team in such a way that you bring them to a point where they are able to take ownership, right? Your team members. I think I love that response. Then I think I'll throw this to the squad mama for Crystal Squad. That's Miss Elizabeth. Um, so the other part of our discussion this afternoon talks about influence, right? And sometimes in our place of work, like our different places of work, and I'm sure that many of us can relate to this, looking at the kind of background many of us come from. Let me use the word conservative in quotes, and You already have blockers from people. They say that, oh, you're like this, and there's already that mind blocker. Like some people tell you, "Oh, I don't relate to people like this and all of that," and you have to lead it in. How can you how would you handle a situation like that where you need to ensure that you're able to influence those people and you're able to impact them irrespective of whatever mind blockers your team members meet you with or welcome you with or whatever in whatever capacity.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, everyone. I think the first thing first is if you are to make influence in the life of people around you, you don't look at the people actually. Yes, you understand that you're leading different set of people with different set of mindset. They might not even like you. And like I used to tell people, it's not necessary for people to like you.
If 95% of your team members don't like you, what do you do? How do you influence them?
Well, I'm getting there. So let's say at the beginning of the project, you're leading a project or you're working with some set of people, and you discover that their attitude towards you shows that they don't like you. What are you bringing to the table? How do you relate with them? Are you the kind of person that, yes, I'm in charge of you and I want to be the boss? When I say this is what we are doing, this is what we are doing. Even when your team member is saying, oh, I have a tenable excuse while I can deliver, or I have something reasonable, or probably elsewise, or a challenge, and you're saying I don't care, you just have to deliver at that point. That kind of leader is very empathetic. That's the first thing first. And that alone could spread the hatred among your team. Because behind your back, people will talk, people will relate and will say, this person is an iron lady. I think that goes to where people have this mindset about female in leadership. And they have this mindset that if you're with a female leader, they are not empathetic, unlike male. And I've had instances where people see me and say, you are going to be like this person, looking at you. Because every female person they've met in higher position, this is the way they do. This is the kind of dogmatic mindset they have. Everybody under them are subjective to them. And they don't want to hear their whole opinion. They don't want to sample people's opinion. They are not even ready to be empathetic with the people. I understand that people could be lazy. People could love giving excuses just to shield away from responsibilities. But at the same time, you have to have that mindset that some people are genuinely willing to work, but situations around them might not allow them. For somebody like me, I like giving people excuses. I make excuses for people. When you mess up, I'll say that, okay, maybe this person did this because of this. But when you mess up the second time, then I realize that it is your person, not even the excuse that you give the first time. So I think what leadership is all about is supporting people, being empathetic toward them, and then influencing them right. When you influence people well, and they see that, oh, this leader is trying her best or his best to bring out the best in me, that alone would change their mindset about you.
Okay, thank you. All
Let me,
right.
let me add something here. So where you have maybe 95% of the people already having a mindset about you coming on board, I don't struggle to influence or to look good before everybody
To
immediately.
impress them.
So I try to, I don't want to use the word politics. So I try to get a few ambassadors.
Let me borrow you a word. Diplomatic.
Yes, diplomatic. I try to get few ambassadors. If I have 100 people I'm managing, I just came and they see me as a woman that, oh wow, another woman again,
Margaret
trouble,
Thatcher.
trouble. I look for one or two of them who are very influential amongst them and make friends with that one. And that one then goes back to tell everybody, oh, the story is different about this woman. Because I actually work in a male-dominated industry. So, and that has worked for me. So you just identify a few of them who you feel can listen, can understand your style, work with them, and you will then go back to tell the others that no, this woman is different from the other woman that came. And it has actually been a winning style for me.
Wow. The winning style. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Ma. Let me turn to Miss. Okay, so in a situation where you know let's say you have a set of team members, right? So I'm still talking about leadership and all of that. And there is this, so I'm trying to put this in the best way I can. You have a set of team members, and there is already this. Mommy said something about the winning strategy, just selecting a few people who would eventually influence others. But in this particular situation, now let me tell a story. I think that will help me put this better. So I had the opportunity to manage a set of people for something like a particular project, and I remember I remember someone walking up to me and telling me, "Oh, what about your team members?" And I was like giving them excuses and all of that. And the person looked at me and said, "I like your kind of boss, so please come and be my boss. I'll just be enjoying myself. You'll be doing all the work. Nobody will be pursuing me or chasing me around and all that." And the person was just trying to tell me that, you need to be hard on them because they would already see you as, oh, you are a lady, you are a woman, and all of that. And there's already this mindset that, oh, I have men on this team. People, in fact, someone old enough to be my father as part of the team. And you want to be careful about how you manage them. So it doesn't look like, is this Janjala girl? You see me, I don't even have body. She's understand. Just came and ordering people around, people that are old enough to be your father, your elder brothers, and all of that. So I was trying to be careful, and at the same time, I wanted to lead my team well. But the person came around and told me that, you are doing this thing with your church mind. They will walk all over you. Do you understand? So in that situation, when you have something like that, how do you handle it? You don't want to be seen as, oh, because she's a lady, she's trying so hard to make an impression that she's a boss. And at the same time, you want to be firm with your team, irrespective of whether we have 70-year-old or 50-year-old on your team. How would you manage that situation?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes. So, how do we balance? I perceive from your question it is about we balancing being emotionally connected with your team members and then also standing in as the leader to say this is where we are going to and this has to be done. Um, Let me start by saying that as a woman in a leadership position, it's good that we embrace our what do I call it? Our emotions towards people. You have to embrace that aspect of you. Most times we try to push it away when we are in certain positions, so we are not seen as um, someone that is too weak or too soft to lead a team. It's good that we embrace that aspect of ourselves because it gives us this deeper connection with the team. You're able to understand the team better. You're able to think from you know the perspective of your colleagues, of your team member, your junior colleagues, and what have you. So it's good that we embrace that aspect of ourselves, and then um, just knowing when to draw the line as well as a leader. When you perceive that I'm delegating task and then it's not being done, I end up doing the task myself. You have to then draw the line. It's not good to keep quiet in such situation. If you're a leader, it is your responsibility to call out people when they are going the other way, so to speak. So, if I have an example, I got a feedback on my birthday from my junior colleague. He just came in, a very young, sharp guy, a Gen Z guy, likes doing things on his own, had a very deep voice and all of that. And then I think he just saw me as a very small person when I talked to so soft and all that. And then I was to, put him through the work like a work body. And I noticed at the end of the day, I end up doing these things that are delegated to him. And then they say, oh, Lily, oversee this guy. And before you know what, it's either I end up doing it or he goes ahead to do it if I insist on it. And he doesn't come back to me. He goes to meet the team lead or whoever delegated the task in. I'm like, how do you make me? Okay, yes, thank you. How do you make me how do you want the perception of the team lead to be, that you can't handle your team member well, you don't have such leadership skill and all that. I had to give him that feedback to say, if you go through something and I'm told to oversee it, it is your responsibility to get back to me. He did it once, twice. Before you know what, I started calling him up, by mail to say this thing, deliver it to me. And at the end of the day, there was a balance. But on my birthday, he gave me that feedback and said, oh, there was a day he got back home very late, and I called him to say, oh, hope you are home. How is everything and all that? Hope you are not stressed. Sorry, that's the way the work is. Just embrace it and all that. So I'm putting the balance there to say, oh, be emotional. You know that this person is a young graduate. He will be going through a lot, getting home around 11 p.m. You've been like that. You know how to, you know how to adjust to the system, but this person is just coming in. So he saw that aspect of me, and right now, anything he wants to do, sometimes I get tired. I'm like, please, can you just go ahead and do what you need to do? Don't always come back to me. So yes, that balance. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I would love our mommy to also speak to that. Um, just draw from our well of wisdom and so on.
I think she already addressed it. A situation where the young guy was going above you to your boss, you already addressed it. So when I give you a task, first of all, remember that you are in the place of work. You are all paid to achieve something. Yes, I like you, I like your face. I like your face, and I even want to take you to my church if possible. But don't take advantage of that. We are first of all paid to do a job. We will do the job. Now, where I give you a task and you will not respond to me, I'm giving you a task with a timeline, remember. I'm not just telling you go and do. As I'm sending you the task, I'm sending you the timeline. And I tell you, when you come to me that you don't know how to do it, first of all, you must have your own solution you are bringing to me. We will review your solution together. Then I will then give you my solution when I know your solution is not going to work. One of my managers once said to me when I was in telecom, she sent us an email. He said, if you bring a problem to me, please bring the solution. And I realized it was the way to go. So each time you take a problem to her and she tells you bring the solution when you are coming, you realize that you are able to think. You are able to think, You then figure out a way to do it. And when I give you a task, I give you timeline. So how dare you not return the task to me, and the next thing you finish it, you take it to my boss? Oh no, it's not going to happen. Because you had a timeline, and after I gave you 24 hours after the timeline, there was no response. I will send a follow-up email. And the next email I will send will be escalation. I will then send to you and copy my team lead that I'm still waiting for this. So if at that point to my team lead, then my team lead knows that I've actually been at your back to do the job. So somehow you have not taken the glory. You still report to me. So you must find a way to balance these things. Please, never you take any work relationship for granted. Don't bring church into it. Don't bring friendship into it. First of all, we are all paid to do the job. After that, we are friends. After that, we are colleagues. I said to somebody one day, I said, coming into the business world, I have actually leveraged all my former colleagues. Majority of what I did when I first started, I got introduced to them by my former colleagues. Somehow they set me up, I would say so. Because when I pulled out of job that I said I was going to do business, some of them gave me contacts. So that means we were friends, right? But I was the head of HR. People don't like HR people. So we would do the work, but we were friends. We would do the work, but I was a Christian that I ought to be. We would do the work, but I will attend to your personal life matters when you come to me. So there was really a balance. And I'm still friends with so many of my colleagues till today.
Thank you so much, ma. We'll do the work, but then You can see the difference. I don't know. Does anyone here have a question? Please, if you have a question, raise your hands. I can see one, two, three, four. Anyone else? Five. Okay, six. Yeah, six. Okay, I can see another hand at the back. Seven. So we have seven. So I'm going to start with the first person. Starting with one. So this, can we please get a microphone to her? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Please, can you hear me? Okay. So, my question is a practical one. I want to direct it to you. I recently got a job, and my job is one where,
Sound, please.
okay, my job is one where I'm a lone ranger in the sense that I don't have persons working under me directly. So I am in charge of safety, like a manager for my facility, and I have to deal with workers, and I also have to report to the management. Now I have cases whereby I have to call the management for meeting. By management, I mean like the top person. This is the first time I have to do that. So in interfacing with them, there are times that because maybe I don't see because I'm a female, but they'll just be like, I'll get back to you. I'm supposed to send me. They're like, no, I don't send me. Just come to my office and all that. Now it's a professional setting, and there are things I'm expected to do. And at the same time, I don't want to step on toes. I mean, I just came in. So how exactly do I draw that professional line? And then in the same vein, the workers under me, there are some that try to write. And for instance, whenever you want to collect something, you're supposed to come to my office. I'm not supposed to come and give you. But when I go around on inspections, I hear, I need this, I need this, I need this. There was one I had to walk away that I'm not bringing it to you. Come to my office. So it's like I'm in the middle. The people down are doing what they like. The people on top are doing what they like. And then how do I like
Okay, thank you. First of all, do you have SOP in that role? Standard operating procedures. Now, have you signed SLAs with the various departments, service level agreements, where, okay, so this is safety, this is HR, this is safety, this is finance. So, have you been able to say, this is how I am going to support finance, or this is how I'm going to support the building team? When they need something, the turnaround time to give them is 5 hours, is 3 hours. There must be a document, we call it SLA, right? You may not have all of those things in the system, but research it and make sure that whoever you report to approves of it. Then give it to all the departmental heads to sign. These are the SLAs that your department have with this department. These are your standard operating procedures. Now, when you then require them to come for meeting, why should I come and call you to come for meeting in the days of internet and email? I will do you a calendar. If you accept the meeting invite, you have accepted. If I now want to play the politics of the good girl, when it is 15 minutes to, I come to your office. Sir, you accepted the meeting invite, right? The meeting is starting in 15 minutes time. Any other thing? You've accepted the meeting invite, right? Haven't you? You accepted it. We are all here to work. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure I've ever been relegated in my career life. I don't have that experience personally. I don't know, maybe it's my size. Or I don't know. But I've also seen very beautiful petite people like Abigail who have led people and they lead well. Do you understand? So, and I never have that mindset that you are looking down on me. It's when I have the mindset that you will get at me. A boss once told me what they said, you don't even look at what is written inside somebody's face. Hey, I can't see it. So because you are saying that they are looking down on you, that is why you are feeling like that. So you need to learn how to use your calendar for meeting invites. They are not your elder brothers or your fathers. They are there to work, and you are there to work. Send them the calendar invites. Copy your boss. If they don't accept the meeting invite, send them email. Sir, I realize you have not accepted the meeting invite. Would you be available? You send him an email and copy your boss. 15 minutes to the interview, go around and say, oh, it's time. Let them not come. When you do your report, you put present, absent. Right? Present, absent. Have you said anything? Did you talk to anybody? No. Next week again, we have the safety meeting. Present, absent. Next 2 weeks, we have the one day the MD will call and say, but I can see you're always absent. But have you made any enemy? No. You didn't have any conversation. Right? And for the employees that come to you and see you on the walkway and say, go and bring boots for me, it is because you don't have a process. So if you have a process and you paste it at your door, if you need safety boots, come between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. and somebody comes 20 minutes after 10, you say, please, you have to come tomorrow. We have closed shop for safety boots today. Tomorrow he will come before 10. You must have a process. So what is going on? I see that your own desk is not organized. So they are taking advantage of your desk not organized to handle you. And if you continue like that, you will burn out. And at some point, they will say you are inefficient. These same people you are struggling to bring to meetings, you are struggling to meet their demand, are the same people that will say you are not efficient. So be careful. You must, if you don't know how to write SLA, go on Google. Everything is now on Google. Go and learn how to write SLA. When you finish writing it, take it to your boss. Write your SOP first, then write your SLA. Take it to your boss will review. Once your boss reviews, take it to all the managers to sign that this is going forward. This is how we are going to support each other. Do you understand? Some of them will not sign, but they already have it. Send it as email and give them hard copies. But make sure you carry your manager along, because they will come and fight at some point. But once they come and say, this SLA is too hard, your manager will say, no, we just want her space to be tidy. So whatever you are doing, make sure you win your manager first. Put your manager inside your pocket, and then you will now go and deal with the others officially. That's the way to go. I hope that helps.
Thank you very much for that, sir. The second person, on purpose now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, so I have two questions. So my first question is regarding a work setting where at the time you are employed, you can play with anybody. Like we have a very, very work friendly environment. So you don't have issues relating with people at all. But recently they brought in some interns that be like I used to be among the youngest staffs until the interns came in and they had to learn actually work in a cybersecurity environment. So there is this particular person that passes comment like, okay, because for me, I know myself, I have a very loud voice. So because I am in the work environment, I try to keep it very calm, and unintentionally I talk really slowly. So it doesn't look like I am passing aggression. But there is this particular person who passes comment like, oh, you talk really slow, oh, you are teaching him something and he's asking you the question back like, okay, yeah, like, oh, did you do this thing? There is a routine you do when you come into the office. Did you do this thing? And he's asking you, oh, did you do it? So, like, I mean, I don't know, it has been a struggle, and I thought it was only me, but everybody eventually reported to the team lead. But I, for like, my kind of person, I think it had affected me directly because I've had to teach him severally. So, it goes like, when we told the team lead, they talked to him, but he still does that same thing. And I mean, for myself, I'm this kind of person that I hold things
And the day I'm going to flare up, I flare up at the littlest of everything. And by the time I'm flaring up, it might look like, oh, why are you flaring up over this little thing? But it's as a result of accumulation of many things this person must have done. So being in a work environment, how do I handle that kind of person without avoiding the person directly? And that is not really good in a work environment. So that is one.
Influencer.
Alright, so
Okay, I have like one more question. Or would you answer that?
should I answer that first? Okay. Alright, so I was smiling because that seems to be my story at some point. Yeah, because you see from my voice, my voice is like a baby's voice, calm in the office. And I've worked with a boss that at some point, because when they give you feedback each time, because I had this, because I had that, I just joined a new team and I was new. As I moved to the team, I needed to hand over to the person that was taking over from my old team, and it was a peak period. It was March for people that work instantly. I mean, it was crazy. So, in the midst of trying to teach someone, at the same time trying to learn a new job, I was making a lot of mistakes. But when my boss is shouting, like giving me feedback, I just start. Why? Because the what he says gets to me. But I got to a point where, because I've taken in too much of those things, when he talks, I talk back. Then started complaining. Then said, because I don't know which I prefer. Whether your quiet self or the new person that is outspoken. I'm like, sir, you said I'm too quiet. Now I'm speaking, you are complaining. Which one do you want to say? It doesn't even know. It looks like it too is not even, it's not good. So what do? I have to get to a point where I have to make a decision. So you have to get to that point where you have to make a decision personally. No matter what feedback you are getting, it mustn't get at you. Because sometimes people project who they are on you. So you are in the work environment and everybody is looking out for themselves. I still said it to someone yesterday. Everybody is selfish when it comes to the workplace. I've had to lead my own friend. I mean, it can be very difficult. Imagine you have to give your friend a query. I mean, my very good friend. But it is the work. It has to be done. You don't do your work, we are going to drop our friendship somewhere. We are going to do the work. When we are through, I'm like, babe, what you did the other time, when we're out of the office, please don't do it again. Don't put me in a tight corner. Right? So you have to be the one to make a decision. You cannot change someone, but you can work on your own self. You don't have to let every word that someone says to you get at you. Right? I've moved to a new team now, but I can say even in the midst of all of those scenarios, that particular person seems to be one of the best boss I've had, who helped me to shaping my emotions in the office. So no matter what you're saying, I get back home. Thankfully, I have a supportive husband. When I get back home, I get to a point where I cry at home because I felt worthless. I felt like I couldn't do the job. I wanted to just resign and just sit at home. And he tells me every time, babe, I'm super proud of you. You are doing just well. So sometimes I sit down and I look at my journey. I'm like, no, Nicola, if you can get into this organization at this time, do this, do this. I mean, for every role I've acquired in my journey, I never applied for it. They just say, oh, you're doing well here. They believe you can do well here. Move here. Even my current role, they moved me. I've never had to apply. Why? Because you got to a point where you are taking the feedback and doing your own work and using the feedback to be a better person. Don't let it ever get to you. It might take a time, but you have to do it consistently. If it requires you standing in front of a mirror, in fact, I wrote down at some point that positive affirmations, your mindset, what is your mindset? You would always meet challenges along the road. Today is your junior that is doing it. What if it's coming from your boss tomorrow? Are you going to resign? Absolutely not. So you have the work to do, but it's doable. It might take a while, it might be difficult, but it's doable. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So because of your time, we may not be able to take the second question right now. I would want us to take the question from the next person.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Okay, my question goes to mommy directly. I happen to so when I was in school, I happened to own a club, like career wise club. So don't let me say I own, but I was like the lead. So one of my club members happened to tell me one day that, Grace, you are too desperate to make it. I was like, I'm too desperate. Am I doing anything illegal? Am I doing anything against God's will? Am I doing anything? I'm not killing anybody. So how will you make that? And the person has to be my like close friend. Like, you are too desperate to make it in life. And I was like, okay, now I cut her off really because like, she said I'm too serious with life. So how do we now like balance this? Because at some point I asked like, am I really desperate really? So how do we balance or like draw a limit between the question of you trying to make all your set goals, you have all your ambition, you want to get there. How do we now still put a balance to I want to do this but I don't want to be desperate? That's one. The second one would have gone to Miss Elizabeth, but I think Ma already answered. I wanted to say when you're talking about don't look at people you are talking to or people that I want to say is people that have emotional stability, but she already answered it, and I think that's fine.
Okay, because of time. So, only you know what plan God has for you, right? You are the one that knows, not your friend. And your friend says to you, you are too desperate to succeed in life. I'm sorry, I won't listen to that. Someone once told me, she was laughing and she said, is it only you that know the logo on money? And we laughed over it. So would I listen to that and sit down and don't call her tomorrow again to say I want to explore one opportunity? I will still call her. So when she's tired of me calling her to say there is one opportunity I saw, I want to explore it, let her not pick my call again. It's fine, I will call another person and we'll continue. Because what is driving you comes from within. Please be very careful about negative comments. You have checked yourself, you are not doing anything illegal, you've not committed sin, you said you checked yourself, right? And there was really nothing wrong. I would say to you that voice was not a good voice. So thank God you identified it and you cut off from it. But again, you also need to be able to draw a balance where you are not getting into serious politics in the office because you want to get to the top. That becomes ungodly. You have to pull down people because you want to be the one promoted. Remember, it is God that promotes. It is God that gives promotion. So where you have to cut down people, bad mouths, and do all sorts of funny things, it becomes a sin at that point. I was in a job, a particular organization, and I'll give this example in the telecom sector. And when I was to be promoted was when I moved into HR. So everybody on my desk were being promoted to level 2. And because I got that role in HR, it was still level 1, and I really, really wanted to do HR. So I went back to level 1 to do the HR. I left the promotion. I didn't wait to take it. That was a very tough one, right? You would ask me, are you a fool? How can you leave more money, more whatever, and you go and stay on the same level? But I can say to you that if I had not made that move, I had remained where I was promoted, I won't be seated here today. Do you understand? So you need to know, only you know what God has told you. Only me knew where God was taking me, not my colleagues. Because it sounded very stupid. Everybody were being promoted. Meanwhile, I have won different awards that would have made them promote me even before everybody. They didn't promote me, no problem. But I moved to the same grade level. If you know the telco, they run a very flat structure. And I left that job on that grade level. It sounds very sad, right? But I say to you, that was where God lifted me. Because the next job I got, I had something in mind. The next job I got was straight on an assistant manager position. And from there, became senior manager, and where I am today. Those my friends I left on that role, many of them are still on that grade and on that role. I don't know if I'm making sense. Only you know what you want in life and what God has told you He will do for you. So please, kill those negative voices before they kill your vision. Okay? I hope that helps.
Kill the negative voices before they kill your vision. Because of our time, we'll be able to take more questions from the audience. And to wrap up the session, I would like to ask Miss Elizabeth and Miss Lee to just speak to this quickly. So, what would you say to ladies who probably for the first time you're given an opportunity to lead a team, maybe you're promoted and all of that, and the promotion can be all new. The consciousness of, oh, I'm going to have to lead this set of people in whatever capacity, whether at work, in church, but just that scenario of having to lead people can set some ladies to, oh, can I really do this? The imposter syndrome and all of that. So, what would you say to ladies like that who are new to such roles? How would you advise them to handle it? I think the sport one should go first.
Thank you so much. I think the first thing first is be yourself. And comparing yourself to someone else might actually make you start misbehaving or make you to start picking up the imposter syndrome because you feel, oh, this other person has been in this position before me and this person has been doing it this way. So I want to start behaving like that person. But you need to know that two different persons are different. They are two different persons entirely. There's something special about you. And when you start being yourself and bringing out the beauty in you, and you discover that yes, you can actually do it. There's something hidden in you that until you push yourself, you won't realize that you actually have that in you. And then the God factor too, you can't really cut that out, whether in the secular work or probably in the church. You need God to actually direct your step and help you to lead people. Like I used to tell people, I said the worst set of living things to direct is human being. It's easy to direct animals and say go this way and they'll go that way. But human being, everybody have their own ideology, everybody have their own mindset. And you are just coming new. It's actually difficult to direct people, but allow God to help you and it will make your path straight.
Okay, thank you. Patton, what's from the city?
All right, thank you. One example I want to bring this from is the story of Esther and how she just thought she wanted to just be the queen, be fine for the king and all of that, and just accomplish what you want to accomplish there and live, just be a woman. But she found a deeper purpose in she being the queen of the land. And that was what drove her to do what she needed to do. She was timid, she was everything you could think of about a young lady that, is feeling so shy and all of that. But she had to just push herself because she understood her purpose. She understood, what she was there for, her mandate. So what I will tell us as ladies when we are called to a leadership position is please try as much as possible, just like she said, be yourself, know what you are there for, know your purpose. It is from there you are able to draw strength, you are able to drive yourself to say, you know what, I can do this. This is what God will have me to do, and I'll do this. Another thing is having mentors. You may not really go to them to say, oh, I want you to be my mentor and all that, but just in your team, just in your organization, and everywhere you can find them. Look for successful women that are doing what you are doing, that you are interested in. Look at how they lead. Look at how they do things. Learn from them. Mommy said, this patient said, feel it till you start acting it and you are like that. Start behaving like a leader. See yourself in their shoes. Think like they think. And from there, you have the courage to pick up whatever task you are given to do. Thank
Begin
you.
to project what you envision. I think that's just a summary. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful session this afternoon. Please, a round of applause for our panelists.
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you. Thank you.
So while the photo session is ongoing, we are way past our schedule actually, but we are going to try to wrap this up. We're going to be calling on the guest performance for today. I need to feature in this. Very much. Thank you, Mommy. A round of applause to every one of them as they go back to their seats. Thank you, Mrs. Ayoyemi. Thank you, Mrs. Olayoye, Miss Olumomi, and Miss Lily. That was a very wonderful one. If you know you learned quite a number of things, let me see your hands raised up. You're sure? I'm so sorry if we were unable to take your questions. Please, my sincere apologies. I hope that we can create a platform to attend to some questions later. But for now, we need to welcome our guest artist on stage. And I don't know, should I do a quick game? They are already giving me eyes from that corner, so they might break both of my head if I waste more time. So I'm just going to hand over to the media people now to introduce our guest.
Peace Unwachuko is a talented singer whose passion for music and leadership abilities led her to become the president of the Divine Saints Choir at Divine Step College, demonstrating her leadership skills and dedication to her craft. She began a singing career in 2019. Peace has achieved notable milestones, including completing master classes in pedagogy workshops for violin teachers and students, themed Everybody Can at Marshall Music Academy, certified by the German Suzuki Institute. She is also a student at Molly Music Academy. Additionally, Peace was a semi-finalist in Treasure Unraveled in Highland and won both the Christ Embassy Talent Hunt in 2020 and the Faith Blue Musical in 2023. With her talent, hard work, and dedication, Peace Nwachukwu is a rising star in the music industry, inspiring audiences and leaving a lasting impact. Ladies, please welcome upstage our guest music minister, Peace Nwachukwu, as she blesses us with a soul-stirring and spirit-inspired worship.